It's a great pleasure for me to join you on the occasion of this anniversary of the GSG's Spanish NAB. The world of impact investment has come a long way in the past 3 years. We can see movement that even 3 years ago could not have been expected. We see the creation of the ISSB to standardize impact measurement by companies, both social and environmental impact. We see the SEC now talking about mandatory disclosure of all environmental impacts, including supply chain impacts. We see the EU continuing to push on disclosure by investors of the impact of their funds. And so the world is beginning to shift. By changing the disclosure rules of companies, we begin to allow investors to steer them in the direction of both profit and impact. And that will change our economic system to bring solutions rather than to create and aggravate our social and environmental challenges. So our ambition, which was to bring this new thinking to the center of our economies, is getting closer and closer. But what are the milestones that we still must pass in order to get to our aim? The first milestone comes from the G7 Impact Task Force report, which the GSG was hugely involved in the setting up of the task force and in the writing of the report. As many of you know, this task force brought 120 senior figures from across the world to look at the issues confronting the progress of this new impact thinking that we have brought. And the key recommendation of the report is that we are heading to impact accounting, and that the next milestone is the valuation of impacts. And aside from encouraging everyone to support the efforts of the ISSB, which it warmly welcomes, the task force calls on us all to support efforts now on valuing impacts. Our aim is through the Impact Weighted Accounts Initiative at Harvard Business School, which we have established together with the IMP and Professor George Seraphim, our great professor of accounting at Harvard. The aim is that this effort should deliver valuation coefficients now, standardized coefficients contextualized for different countries, so that the value of a liter of water, as a simple example, varies from an economy where there's a water shortage to an economy where there's plenty of water available. And so our emphasis is going to be now on supporting these different efforts of the EU, of the ISSB, of the SEC, and of the IWAI, so that within the next 2 to 3 years, we can bring these coefficients together with the quantity measures that the ISSB is establishing. And the ISSB covers financial accounting across the whole world. The SEC covers the United States. So basically, we're talking of a global new set of standards. But alongside that, we face huge critical challenges. The latest crisis in the Ukraine has created disruptions in the supply of wheat and other foodstuffs and the supply of other raw materials. It's going to exacerbate the risk of inflation, which in many countries is going to hit the most vulnerable the most, as it always does. And so the question for us in the impact movement is how can we boost the flow of impact capital now to help the most vulnerable? Well, we're beginning to see companies take up our thinking. Over $1 trillion, not a billion, of sustainability-linked bonds and loans were issued last year, where the rate of interest paid by the borrower falls if certain environmental or social targets are met. So the capital markets have understood today the opportunity that impact offers. But there are many other impact instruments that can be deployed to help us in a just transition to net zero. The use of social impact bonds to reskill those who are going to lose employment as we shift away from fossil fuels to new, cleaner sources of energy. The use of outcomes funds, the use of impact capital wholesalers in our economies, funded by unclaimed assets in banks, insurance companies, and investment vehicles. The measurement of impact is the lever which enables us to shift finance to improve our world. And so I wish you great luck in this coming period of 3 years. We look forward to having all of your support and contribution to the new thinking and to achieving our aims, so that in Spain, as elsewhere in the world, we improve the lives of people and the situation of our planet. Thank you.